Tuesday night in the foothills, my midnight blue coupe ticking as it cooled. I heard a baby crying on an empty street and turned the wheel before my brain caught up. 3 minutes later, a canvas-lined crate sat under a maple, and a pair of wide eyes looked up like I'd been expected, and the $12 million deal waiting on my screen suddenly felt cheap compared to a warm bottle and a safe pair of hands. I'm Ethan Cole, the guy people call relentless or cold when they don't know better, kid who grew up in a trailer behind the feed store. Kid who learned that if you acted untouchable, then maybe the kids who shoved you into lockers would get bored. And I'm telling you. I bent down, he gripped my knuckle with a fist the size of a walnut, and something long and metal snapped inside my chest. In the quiet, a cable cut loose so everything could fall into place. I called Dana, my assistant, who knows my calendar better than my mother knows my birthday. Push them to Thursday, I whispered, for no reason, urgent family. And when she said, "You don't have family," I stared at that little face and said, "I do tonight, you know what I mean." The manual says, call the police, secure the scene, don't touch. But the manual doesn't see the way a newborn looks straight through you, like he's deciding whether you're worth trusting. So I buckled. Nothing angled the rear view so I could watch him, and drove like the wheels had eggs taped to them. My place is a magazine spread that hates small humans. Glass edges, concrete, too many echoes. So I set the crate on the island, opened my laptop like a parachute, and typed newborn basics, and the internet yelled right back. Feeds every 2-3 hours. Sterilize the bottle. Slow flow nipple. Hold the head up. Test milk on your wrist. Burp halfway, and I didn't even own a saucepan. That made sense, just a latte thermometer. And panic, so I said, "Okay, buddy," pharmacy out loud, like he and I had been roommates for years. The 24-hour spot on Colfax was bright and too clean, a woman with gray hair in a braid, and readers on a chain clocked me and the crate without flinching. First time, she said, and I said, "I need everything," and she became Evelyn the General I didn't know. I needed newborn nipples, standard formula, unless there's a reason not to size N diapers, and a pack of size 1 for next week, fragrance-free wipes, digital thermometer diaper cream, and patience. Then she walked me through the bottle like it was a magic trick. Test on the inside of your wrist, hold him at a tilt, slow circles on the back after half. And she eyed him the way nurses do, 4 to 6 weeks. Alert someone cared for him. And when I asked in a low voice what to do about paperwork, she said, "Feed him now, ask the legal questions tomorrow. Babies don't care about our forms. They care about warm milk and safe arms." And yeah, that landed. Back home, I boiled, measured, sterilized like I was diffusing something you can't see. Tested the milk and didn't know what just warm meant to skin that hadn't slept, made a call. And the kid latched like he'd been doing it longer than I've been breathing. Tiny dinosaur burp halfway through. Little hand spread over my shirt like he was claiming land. And then the managing partner from the fund called to lecture me about value and time. "There's nothing more valuable than keeping your word," he said. And I looked at a human being who would starve without me and said, "Tell that to a hungry kid," and hung up before I got fired from capitalism. Night was short, 2 30-minute naps, 1 diaper disaster. I won't describe on a family channel. And at 7 a.m., the bell rang, and in walked Lila Morales, retired pediatric nurse with the kind of calm that makes you breathe deeper. She washed her hands and assessed with eyes that have met thousands of babies. "He's beautiful, 4 to 6 weeks healthy. What are we calling him?" And I looked at the beanie in the crate with a sewn arrow and almost said, "Arrow changed my mind," said, "I don't know yet." And Lila smiled, adjusted my hold. "Confidence is contagious. He'll borrow yours until he grows his own." Then asked the question the internet couldn't answer. "Any documents, birth certificate, vaccination card," and I told her the truth. "I found him on Pine Ridge last night. and she nodded, like she'd heard every version of panic. You did right, feeding him and bringing him in now. We do right by him legally. Temporary guardianship is a path, if the court agrees, but it takes proof of safety, proof of care, proof of why a man cancels a $12 million meeting to rock a stranger at 3 a.m. Judges can read balance sheets. She said they want to read you. I met the lawyer at noon, Benjamin Cho, in a discreet office with good coffee and better questions. He laid it out. Straight, we file the official report. Because that's the law, we file a petition for temporary guardianship. At the same time, because that's the strategy. And we load it with evidence, photos of where I found him. A care log, a nurse's letter, a pediatric exam, a psychologist's observation of our interaction, home safety upgrades. Everything that says this isn't a project or a PR stunt. It's a life, and when I asked for odds, he said the money isn't the point. The child's best interest is the point. Your odds go up every hour. You act like a father instead of a rescuer. Can you handle a week of scrutiny? And I said, if I could handle junior year as the kid nobody picked, I can handle anything. You know what I mean? That week hurt my shoulders and reset my clock, Dr. Kelsey. Nguyen came with a scale and a soft voice, weighed-up reflexes, good tracking faces and sound. Whoever cared for him before did right. Whoever's caring for him now is doing great. And I didn't cry, but I did sit a little taller then. Dr. Omar Patel stood in my living room with a notebook, while I tried not to perform parenthood. Just be you, he said. Worst and truest advice, and at the end, he closed the book. I see attunement. He looks for your face the moment he wakes, so you move to soothe, before he escalates. That's early, secure bonding, and I didn't know words could weigh that much until they did. We baby-proofed like a SWAT team, glass table to storage, outlet covers everywhere. A guest room turned nursery crib, built wrong twice then, right when I finally read the directions, and every feed and burp went on a whiteboard like flight plans. Meanwhile, a social worker named Ms. Granger called voice like a line you don't cross, Mr. Cole folks like to play hero. Babies aren't projects. And I told her he wasn't a project. He was a person who needed breakfast, and she said, did you think of the mother, maybe the father? And the question punched, I said. Every hour I picture him with a stranger. My body says no. She came for the home visit and took in the latches, the stacked diapers, the bottle station, my shirt with a stain shaped like Ohio, and she didn't smile until he smiled at her. We'll include this in the file, she said softer. And I realized we weren't enemies, just two people doing jobs that sometimes collide. Court isn't a TV show, it's fluorescent and tired. But Judge Albright read our petition, the letters, the reports, then took off his glasses and asked Mr. Cole, why did you stop your car? And I told him the truth I hadn't said out loud. Because my body moved before my thoughts. Because I grew up as the kid nobody ran toward. Because holding him felt like finally doing the thing I always needed someone to do for me. The DA's rep asked about biological family. Ben explained the notices and time windows. Ms. Granger stood and said, he's doing the work. He isn't performative. And the judge wrote something, put his glasses back on, and said the words that still echo in my ribs. Temporary guardianship granted for 6 months. Keep the court updated. If no family comes forward, you may petition to adopt. And I held it together until the apartment door closed, and he laughed in his sleep for the first time. Yeah, that happened. Here's the twist. I didn't plan on midway through those months. City Park geese we had no business chasing, and when I buckled him into the car seat, he hated and walked around to the driver's side. There was an envelope under my wiper, no address inside. A Polaroid of a young woman in a thrift store mirror, holding a newborn in a green beanie with a sewn arrow on the back, clean block letters. Thank you for keeping him alive. I will come back when I'm safe, and the pavement tilted just a little. I sat in the driver's seat and put the photo face down. Told Ben the next morning, and he nodded legally. The guardianship stands. Emotionally, the story just wrote a new chapter. We inform social services, we keep his circle stable, and if someone comes, we lead with facts and patience. Months kept moving Lila's twice-a-week lessons that don't make YouTube, the difference between hungry fuss and bored fuss, the shirt-saving diaper change, the sea otter bath hold, Dana telling me I smile more and swear less, a managing partner smirking, when I left a meeting at 4 for bath time, and me smiling back because I don't measure myself by office hours anymore. And when the notices turned up, no match. Ben filed the adoption petition with a stack thick enough to hold a door. We kept a chair open in our heads anyway. And on the day Judge Albright asked what I was naming him, I finally had it, Rowan, I said, and the gavel came down like a blessing. I wish I could tie it all up with a bow, but real life gave me something better and messier. A little boy who loses his mind. For blueberries, a ledger that says, I made a little less, and a life that says, I finally made enough. Evelyn keeps a pack of size 3s behind the pharmacy counter with a sticky note that says, for Rowan Ms. Granger mailed a board book with a post-it for court waiting rooms and ordinary Thursdays. And some nights, I still look at the photo of the girl in the mirror with the arrow beanie and wonder which street she took to get there and which street she'll take back. If she ever does, I don't villainize her. Fear makes choices, Ov has to clean up. We're doing the cleaning up, so tell me straight. Did I do the right thing when I canceled the deal and put a stranger's child on my passenger seat? Or did I put my feelings above a system that exists for a reason? And if the person who left that note shows up one day, what does justice look like, letter of the law, or best interest of a child who has two truths now? Drop your take in the comments. Push back. Share the time you made. One choice that rewrote your life in 5 seconds. And if you believe people still pull over when they hear a cry in the dark, hit like, share, and tell me what you would have done at that curb.